Hi there, I'm Brenda, and today I'm going to talk to you about mental illness. Not because I'm a psychiatrist and not because I have mental illness, but because I've seen a lot of it and it's been forced upon me in some capacity because of my circumstances. Everyone's heard of the saying, there's a fine line between sanity and insanity. And of course, anyone can be driven to insanity for any given reason. Usually it's stress. But homelessness can certainly create the kind of mental illness or insanity that one would hope that once one had a home, one would get over. But it's kind of like going to Vietnam, I think. It's a war thing. Once you're there, you may never get over the trauma or the stigmatism or the experiences that you had on the street. But my encounters with mental illness came when I first arrived in the city in February 2004, when they didn't know whether I was mentally ill or not. I showed up with a dog, a little red wagon, and a giant sign that said, "God bless us, go, God love Jesus." Well, because they didn't know whether I was nutty or not, and I claimed I wasn't, they still said there wasn't anything they could do for me. But if I was willing to say that I was mentally ill, I could get government assistance, government housing, and all kinds of freebie things. But I'm not mentally ill. And I said, I'm sorry. I think that would be fraud for me to claim that I'm less than what I am. And that's what put me into homelessness, was fraud and corruption. So why would I want to take and do something that I knew was wrong? Two wrongs don't make a right, you know. Anyways, back to my little story. So during my course of 3 years and 4 months of homelessness and in the shelter system, and as recently as being in a shelter called Calvary Women's Shelter, I was told that if I didn't claim to be mentally ill, then by God, they were going to put me out on the streets. And then they wanted to send me to their sister shelter system, which was called, I can't remember what it was right now because it's just sort of escaping me. You know, that happens when the mind gets old. I'm going through the change, you know. It's not anything with mental illness. But anyways, they told me that if I wouldn't go into this other pathways for housing, that's what it was, then they'd put me out on the street. But I said, you don't understand. You have to be diagnosed with a mental illness. You have to be seeing a psychiatrist on a regular basis. And you have to be taking medication. And I don't do any one of those three. I don't qualify to go there. But they said, you better go, because if you don't go, then by God, we're going to kick you out of here, which they couldn't do anyways. I'm at a loss. I got a federal grant that paid for my rent for a whole year. Because supposedly, I don't know why, maybe I came from Texas, maybe I'm just because they thought I was cute, but I had no mental illness. Couldn't understand it. Then I was denied the right to move in because I had a working dog, and they couldn't do that either. But no one was willing to help me in a courtroom to recognize the fact that I had legal rights. Because I am homeless, I'm considered mindless. And I just don't understand this, you know. My brain and my living circumstances don't necessarily go hand in hand. But certainly living on the streets can put stress on anyone. It can cause depression, it can cause all kinds of other issues that one hopefully can adjust and adapt to. I just want to say this much. Mental illness is, in my book, underrated and overrated. Too many people are willing to say they're mentally ill to get a government handout, and I think there's something wrong with their thinking if they think $603 a month is a good amount of money, and to be classified as mentally ill for the rest of your life. I can make that in a week slinging food in the truck stop in Texas, so why on God's green earth would I want to settle for that on a monthly basis just to get a government handout? I'm willing and able to work. I just need the opportunity. And I don't want you to think that I don't have a mind just because I don't have a home. Hey, let's all bind them together and help those that truly need our help mentally, and then help those that are looking for a government handout find a better way. That's all I can say about mental illness right now.